All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually have a phenomenal artist right here live on the line. He is actually a member of iconic R&B group Z-Look, and he's also part of another group as well, man, actually by the name of L.A. Lion. But right here, right now, we got the one and only Eric Strickland right here live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening, Eric?
I'm doing real good, man. Just happy to be with you, man. DJ Immortal is in the house, keeping it real and keeping it live.
And I gotta say, man, it's definitely an honor, man, to actually have you on the station, man. Me personally, I grew up listening to Z-Look, man, and I just gotta say, just being able to interview you and then Mike the other night, I gotta say, man, it's truthfully an absolute honor, man. So thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening.
It's my pleasure, my pleasure.
But I want to take you back to the beginning of your iconic career, man. And I love asking this question because at the end of the day, everybody always has a different story, man. But I have to ask, like, what actually made you decide to pursue a career in music initially, man? Because you're such a phenomenal guitar player.
Well, okay, I'm going to tell you, it's been a while. But one Sunday night, I was a little kid. One Sunday night, my grandmother called us and told us to turn on the Ed Sullivan Show. And I saw the Jackson 5, and it just blew my mind. I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be in a group like that. You know, because we grew up listening to the Temptations and all that other stuff, the other Motown. But these were kids. And I was like, I could do that someday. And that's where it all started for me. And I knew I was like, because it looked like they were having so much fun, and they were. That's where it all started for me.
And I gotta say as well, man, the Jackson 5, absolute phenomenal family-based group, man. I gotta say, they definitely inspired a lot of individuals back in the day.
Oh, yeah, especially me. I mean, we used to pretend like we were the Jackson 5. You know, we couldn't do it like them, but we would instead of playing baseball, well, I tried to play baseball too, but that would be what we would do. We would pretend like we were the Jackson 5. You know, me and my cousin.
But also as well, as we already know, you are a member of the iconic New Jack Swing R&B group, man, Z-Look. I was wondering, what is the story behind that iconic group? And of course, how did you actually get connected with the other three members?
Well, actually, Mike was, my mom was his kindergarten teacher. And she saw it. She knew how much Mike loved music. And she knew how much I liked music. And so she said, they need to get together. And I was like, I always knew Mike. He's a couple of years younger than me. Because I remember when Mike was he was a little kid. He was a couple of years younger, but he was little, but he was bad. So I was like, man, that little kid is bad. But I was only a couple of years older. But still, he was like phenomenal. Young kid playing with older kids, you know. But we didn't hook up until a little bit later because we went to different high schools. But I always knew that Michael had it, you know, because Michael was like, to me, Mike was the first the first DJ that I actually saw rapping. You know, like he was like Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. He did that. He was the first. I saw him do that before DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So for me, I always admired Mike because he always had his stuff together. And then I met Art. We went to Cal State LA together. We were in the jazz band together. And so I think Mike, he met this singer friend of mine. And so we were going to just back this guy up. And so I got Art, and so that's how we all got together. Me, Mike, and Art got together like that. But we wound up, the singer, he wound up leaving and doing something else. And so then we got Wayne. But with the nucleus was, me, Mike, and Art.
And also as well, man, you guys actually dropped a phenomenal record back in the year 1988 titled Take You Back to My Place, man. I was wondering, for the listeners that don't know the story behind this iconic record, I have to ask, man, can you shed some light on this amazing release? And of course, what was it like actually putting together this very first project over at Orpheus Records?
Well, actually, that was our drummer. He came up with he played these chords, and and I was like, "Whoa, that's funky, man!" And then we like, "Oh, she's so nice, cold as ice. I wonder if it's worth the time." And we just came up, we just started finding it, But the drummer, his name was Alan Arzu. He's in I don't know if you've seen the Love Sick video, but he's playing the drum, but they had some kind of weird drum thing. It was supposed to be drums, but I don't know if you saw the Love Sick video, but that's Alan is the one that we co-wrote that with him.
I think I've seen that back in the day, but I have to go back and actually watch it. I think it's been quite a few years.
Yeah.
But also as well, man, as I mentioned during that question as well, man, that you guys were actually signed, of course, to Orpheus Records. I have to ask because I do know that when I interviewed Eric the other night, Mike the other night, he actually gave me the down story on Epic. So I was wondering, how did that record deal with Orpheus actually come to be for you guys? And of course, what was it like working for that label back in the day?
It was cool because we were one of the first groups that they signed. But we were Michael's cousin was like their attorney, so his cousin kind of hooked us up because they were our management. But it was really cool because we were the first group that they had. So like "Can You Read My Lips" was the first single on the Orpheus label.
And I remember as well, just the amount of individuals they had signed alongside you guys. Like, I believe there was CMW, Arabian Prince. I also believe King D, if I'm not mistaken. Just the list of legendary talent on that label alongside you guys was phenomenal.
Mhm. Yeah, Arabian Prince. Me and our lead singer Wayne, we were in his video for "She's Got a Big Posse." Yeah.
And I have to ask, man, what was it like actually working alongside NWA member Arabian Prince? What was it like actually just being featured in that video, from what you guys can remember?
Oh, he was a real down to earth guy. He's really really cool. They wanted him to produce us. I remember, but he, because he did his thing was Supersonic, but I think he kind of because he was like, I don't know if my sound really fits the band, but I think we probably could have done something, but he was kind of like, he didn't know that he didn't think his sound would fit what we were doing. But I mean, we could have did, like the DJ Quick did with Tony, so we probably could have came up with something, but it's just, but he was a real cool guy, though. I really enjoyed working with him in that video.
And I have to ask, was that the only time you guys had the opportunity to actually, work with Arabian Prince, or did you guys have other encounters while being signed to that label?
I think that was probably the only time, because he was kind of on his way to promoting his record, so. Yeah, but I remember running into him a couple of times. He's a real cool, down to earth guy.
And also as well, man, in the year 1991, you guys actually released my personal favorite studio album titled "My Desire." I was wondering if you can actually shed some light on this iconic release, and of course, what was it like just being in the studio putting together that phenomenal project? Because I know that you guys actually came to that record with sort of a little bit of a different sound.
Yeah, that was our sophomore album. And I think, it's like I'll be honest with you. I think our lead singer, his head was starting to get kind of big at that time, so he started having like little entourages and people were, some of his choices and some of his friendships weren't the best. So, he kind of slowed us down a little bit in terms of the process of getting the album released. So it actually, we kind of missed our deadline to when it should have come out. I mean, I think it was probably all of our. I'm not trying to put all the blame on it. It was probably all of our faults because we were all probably a little immature at that time. But I think we all kind of got a little caught up with the little bit of fame that we had from the first album. And if we'd have handled everything a little bit better, things probably could have turned out better with the second album.
And I know this might kind of seem like a weird question to ask, but the one thing I've always wondered is with record labels, if you actually miss the quota for your album, like the amount of time they give you to actually get the album done and released, like what do they do? Do they give you a time extension, or do they kind of give you a fine where you got to give them a certain amount of money? Like, what's the process when you miss a deadline at a record label?
I think they'll move on from you. They'll take somebody else that's ready. That's what happened with us. We weren't ready for that spot. And it's also crucial, because they plan out the whole year with what they're going to do, and and all your tours and everything are locked into that. You want to be out at a certain time and generate some noise so you can get on a tour, So we didn't really understand that at the time.
Hey, but you know what? You guys still put together two phenomenal records, in my personal opinion. I think those records will always go down within R&B history, man. So at the end of the day, I look at it as at least the world got two iconic Z-Look records.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, we musically, yes, I'll agree with you. But it's like business-wise, if we had it to do all over again, being grown men, I think we could have done it. The world could have. I think we could probably got a little more notoriety from it if we knew what we know now.
And also as well, man, I actually brought this up the other day when I was actually chopping it up with Mike about the holiday record that's unfortunately unreleased, titled "Girl Dance Around the Christmas Tree with Me." And since it's the Christmas season, I figured it's probably a good question to ask. I was wondering, could you actually shed some light on this unreleased project? And of course, why wasn't it ever released to the general public back in the day?
Well, I think it's the same. It's like I think they pretty much had moved on from Z-Look. I mean, it's like when you miss your deadlines, sometimes they're not that invested in you, because they've pretty much moved on. But one day we may explore that and put it out ourselves,
And I gotta say as well, I really hope you guys actually do decide to put that out at some point, man. Because I gotta say, just hearing your guys' perspective on a Christmas record, I'm actually very intrigued. But hopefully one day it'll actually come out, man. Because I think that will definitely sell quite a few units.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. When I was listening to you interviewing Mike, I was like, yeah, we need to put that out. Especially, because, I mean, Christmas songs don't never go away, But I say just like Curtis Blow, his biggest hit was Christmas Rap. That was his first single. But that's like one of the greatest Christmas songs of all time.
And also as well, man, aside from Z-Look, you were also a member of another phenomenal band titled LA Lion. I was wondering, can you tell us a bit more about this group? And of course, how did you guys actually get connected?
Well, that particular group, it was like around the time I think Z-Look was ending, and I was just kind of like gigging, and then I think I answered an ad, and this was probably, man, what year was that? It was probably 92, I guess, somewhere around 92. So I answered an ad, and I started playing. The group was called Out of Control at the time. And I remember the lead singer, the first rehearsal I went to, she fired the conga player. we were there chopping it up, just waiting for her to get there. And as soon as she walked in the door, she fired the conga player. And I thought to myself, I don't know if I can work with this girl because she kind of hard, But here we are, almost 30. Yeah, it's been 30 years. We've been friends. 30 years later, we still playing together. and it's like, who could have? But now she took over the group, and now it's called L.A. Lion.
Hey, I gotta say as well, you know what I mean? Honestly, that definitely would have been first meeting your bandmate. That definitely would have been a little like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen, But there's probably a backstory to that where she probably fired him for a good reason. But hey.
Oh yeah. She told me later that this guy was a waste of money for one. He played too loud, and then he hadn't been showing up. But see, I didn't know any of that at the time. So I was like, yeah, you're right. You did right. That was the right thing to do. I didn't know, but yeah, that was the right thing to do.
And also as well, I actually saw on your guys' website that tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, you guys are actually going to be tearing up the stage at the Route 66 Roadhouse and Tavern. And we have listeners all over the world, and I do know that a lot of your fans are most definitely probably tuned in right now. So I was wondering, man, what can our listeners actually expect from this phenomenal performance tomorrow night? And of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some last-minute tickets so the individuals that are out in the area can come and see you guys perform live in person?
Oh, it's just show up and just check the LA Lion website. Show up. There's no cover charge. Just come. It's all love,
And I gotta say, I really wish I was out in California, man, because I would definitely slide on through and see you guys perform, man. Down here in Canada, we still got they're retightening up these restrictions. We're going back down to 50%. So seeing all these concerts popping up on my feed, man, it's definitely making me a little jealous down here in the Great White North.
Yeah, yeah, I think it might start tightening up here as well. So.
Hey, but you know what? At least you guys are getting those shows in while you can. You know what I mean? Hopefully, it's not another 2-year lockdown. Hopefully not.
I know. I hope not. Because actually, for me, that the lockdown has been what got me back into writing. Because I've been playing for the last 20 years. But since the lockdown, I've started getting back into writing, and I reached out to Mike, and now we're trying to get Z-Look back together again. So it's actually been a blessing, to have that lockdown for me.
And I gotta say, I heard that from a lot of people as well, that the lockdown really did help their creativity. Like, even with myself with the radio station, like, I just put in mad work, because when you're at home, there's not much else you could really do except work.
Yeah, because I'm not really the good thing about Z-Look was, like, Mike is the studio guy, so I just give him ideas, and he take it and run with it. So that's what I really loved about working with Z-Look. It's like we all had our role to play, and I don't think none of us really stepped on anybody's toes, I didn't think. Because even with Wayne, he did what we wanted him to do, But it's just, it was just unfortunate that, some of his friendships, outside of the band kind of got in his head a little bit.
But also, man, on August 20th of this year, you actually dropped a phenomenal single release titled "One Night Stand." I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about this about this phenomenal release, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy today?
Yeah. Well, actually, that was a song that I wrote. If Z-Look would have had a third album, that would have been on there because I had started working on it way back then. But then during the pandemic, well, actually, it was 2017. Somebody heard the Z-Look music and wanted to use it for movies and things. So I talked to he was a sync licensing guy. So in 2017, he was asking me, do you have any demos or anything? And I said, I'll see what I can come up with. So then the pandemic hit, and so I said, well, let me start messing around with that again and try to come up with something on that. And so there it is. I just went on and released it. And I'm waiting for Mike, and I'm going to get Mike and Art on that, and we may re-release it as a Z-Look single, But it was about a relationship that I had way back in the day. The girl just had a one-night stand and didn't want to be with me no more. So that's a true story.
Hey, but I gotta say, it definitely happens to the best of us, man. But hey, it was her loss, and now she has a song made about her. You know what I mean?
Right. Wrote a song about it. Like to hear it go. Like in living color.
Hey, you know what? If she actually got the opportunity to actually hear that, I think most women wouldn't even believe it at first until they heard the song, and they'd be like, "Oh shit, like that's not about me," and then they hear it and be like, "Oh shit."
But she actually, the sad thing about it, she passed away, so she'll never know. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, in the most nicest possible way, rest in paradise to her. But hey, at least her legacy's living on.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, a lot of the Z-Look songs, this girl broke my heart. To be honest. So some of the Z-Look songs were written about her too. In fact, there's what "You Turned Me On" on the My Desire album. That one was about her too. And it's like, never seen a girl so serious, never seen a girl so fine. That was about her too. I don't know if you remember that one on there.
I actually do. Not gonna lie, I would have never thought it was actually about that, but you know what I mean? Now I clearly know.
Yeah. It's like I was... Art wrote the music, so it's like I wrote that. I think we all kind of collaborated on that one. But she was my motivation behind that one.
Hey, but back in the day, man, even today when people write a lot of R&B songs, man, a lot of those heartbreaking songs, man, became hits. So in a way, she kind of helped you out without even knowing it.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
But also, man, as well, immediately after this interview, I'm actually going to be playing one of your most recent released songs, man, that actually dropped just November 5th, November 1st of last month, called Same Okie Doke, man. I was wondering, for the listeners that haven't had the opportunity to hear this phenomenal song, what can they expect from it when they hear it here live on 97.7 FM, right here on the Canadian FM dial?
Well, that's like an old school throwback to, I was like a Slave fan, so that was my, kind of had like I was going for like a Slave feel, So that's kind of the music that I grew up trying to do, Slave, Brick, all those bands. That was kind of what Z-Look was we kind of patterned ourselves after the 70s, 80s R&B bands. So that was the sound I was going for.
But also as well...
my
apologies.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, what is next for you? Because I do know you have so many amazing projects. I know we only touched base on a little bit of your iconic career here this evening, but is there anything we happen to miss? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the Canadian FM dial this evening.
Well, you look for some Z-Look music coming soon, and we'll let you know. You know, I'm working on some more stuff, some more singles under the Eric Jerome project, and you know what I'd like to do. I want to work on something with. We want to get this girl that sang on "Can't Stop Thinking About Your Love," Silk. We want to get her back in the studio on some projects. So we got some things in the works.
And I gotta say, you know, working with her, I gotta say, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing that again, man. Because I gotta say, you guys are gonna do some phenomenal work.
Yeah, she was like the 5th member of Z-Look. Yeah. So yeah, we want to definitely get back with her. But yeah, we've been in touch with her. She's in Vegas now.
But also, Eric, this is the time in the interview, man, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves. Just like a chance to give, like, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to. But most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything you, if they're not already doing so.
Okay, yeah, you can reach me at Facebook, Eric Strickland on Facebook, and Eric Jerome, that's Eric, ERIC, J apostrophe ROME on Facebook as well, and my Instagram is Eric J61 2003 on Instagram. And okay, and the shout out, I'd like to give a shout out to all the members of Z-Look, Art Zamora, Mike C, Romeo Johnson, Les Faulkner, our drummer, Alan Arzu, our other drummer, and Silk. I think she's going by Williams now. It's Silk Williams or Silk Byers, our other lead singer. Give her a shout out. And all the members of L.A. Lion, Lisa Lyon, Renee Lopez, and Sagumi Scano. And all my friends from Up With People, all my friends from around the world in the international group Up With People, Cassie 1981. Y'all know who you are.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, Eric, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airwaves. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege being able to chop it up with one of R&B's finest, man. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what yourself and you guys got in store in the future, man. And of course, thank you for years of monumental music that not only myself, but millions upon millions of listeners worldwide had the opportunity to enjoy for so many years.
Well, I thank you, man, DJ Immortal, for keeping it live, keeping us up, keeping the music alive, man. We can't do it without people like you, man, and I really appreciate you, and this, anytime, this has been indeed a pleasure.
Hey, man, I gotta say, the feeling is definitely mutual, man. And like I said, we're actually connected on Facebook, man, so anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out, man. We definitely can do this again whenever you want to, man. So you just let me know, give me the word, and we definitely can set it up and make it happen.
All right. Yeah, hopefully we can get to Canada and do a show or something. That would be really great.
Hey, I mean, I gotta say...
Shout out to... another cat from Canada, Kenny B. Smooth. He's a influencer, and I ran across this guy. This kid was dancing to one of our songs, and I think it was probably 2016 or something. I was like, what? Kenny B. Smooth. Canada's own Kenny B. Smooth. If you're listening, that's my dude. Kenny B. Smooth.
And I gotta say again, Eric, thank you so much, man. I gotta say, definitely enjoy your Thursday night, and of course, man, good luck on your performance tomorrow. I know you guys do not need it, but tear that roof off that place, and I'm definitely looking forward to someday seeing you guys slide into Canada for a concert, man. But for now, definitely enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Thank you so much again.
All right, thank you. All right, bye.